Hey, part two. Same outfit. Who cares? That's, I had this boyfriend a long time ago that one of the great things I have to say I learned from him was when I used to say things like, well, what if they think da 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 da, or what about, and I would go into like worrying about what others were going to think or judge me about. He would always say, honey, so what? Who cares? And then I would laugh and I realized, yeah, really, so what? Who cares? Like, who cares? So what? I mean, that's about them. That when somebody just can't, handle your stuff, that's about them. That's their limit, not anything about you, you know? So cut your hair, dye your hair, go to that place. Just, I think the more people really, really are who they are, the more beautiful they are, because they're happy. And that is something that can't be mistaken. So on that note, the elevated emotions, which I ended the part one about, sometimes I get it. That is tough. We have our habits. So I work at Rancho La Puerta. We have guests here. I have guests that sometimes treat me like I'm a slave, like I'm in the class assisting. They're lying there. They're right by the towel rack. And they look at me and go, I need a towel. They don't even ask me. They don't even say, oh, could you bring me a towel? Or I need a towel, and point at it, and then look at me, I can just go, okay. I do go, okay. It's my job. But inside, I can feel this little reaction about kind of like, well, really, who do you think you are? Just get your butt up, and can you stand up and get it yourself? Anyway, but so it can be tough. That's just a little example, personal example. But we have them all the time. You can get triggered by your coworkers, your family, in the parking lot, with tech support on the phone, you name it. And it's pushing you. Yeah, and we get frustrated, irritated. You don't have enough time to have this stupid person go on and on and on. They don't know what they're talking about. And then we're judging, and all of that. And all of that lowers your vibration. When you lower your vibration, and we go into those negative thoughts that create the emotion, that triggers the feeling, that emits the chemical, that's what's happening physiologically. But around your body, okay, everybody's heard of their aura or their energy field maybe. I don't have the great picture I could show you right here. But if you can imagine the outline of your body, like on those cop shows, the body was on the ground. And then lines around it, like maybe 5 or 6 or so. These are the different layers of you. That's why when we come together, you don't have to come close to someone. You feel their field. Because some people, they just have that bigger, they're bigger. Those are the charismatic ones, right? Then other people, you get in their field and they are such Debbie Downers because you feel this. So what happens with yourself, because we're energy vibrational beings, if you live a long time in this more non-elevated thought place with the chemicals of doom, I should call it chemicals of doom, you're drawing from this life force. You're lowering your life force. When you lower your life force, you have way less immunity to dis-ease, because disease starts in the field first. I've always believed this. Starts in the field around you well before it manifests in your physical body. Whether it's a simple cold or arthritis or digestive issues, skin issues, you name it. I mean, I learned part of this from this, but also I've always believed this for so long from when I worked for Chinese herbalists 40 plus years ago. So many things I learned there. So that's another reason why we want to keep our state elevated, keep it elevated. And again, I know it's not always easy. It's not easy for me either. You know, I can get super easily triggered here at work, and I can get super easily triggered by my own family, my sisters, my dad, and I love them dearly. And I know they love me dearly, but I know I trigger them too. But it's an opportunity for you to grow. It's always the opportunity for you to see it from afar, and consciously make a choice. All right, so some of these super cool synchronistic events, let's see. I think I shared this one, but I'll tell you again. I think I told you in my newsletter, but I needed the ride from Orlando to Miami. And my former housemate was unable to pick me up. And he, therefore, I could have rented a car or whatever, but I decided I'm going to manifest a ride. And sure enough, the event started on Monday evening, Tuesday morning breakfast, sat at a table, started talking to a guy. He came from Miami, drove there. I asked him, wow, when are you leaving? Are you leaving on Sunday? Do you think I could get a ride with you? He's like, yeah, no problem. Got his name. Same day lunch, met another guy, Dustin, from Miami. I said, oh, I need a ride back to Miami after the event. I already think I've got one, but could I just, in case, can you be the backup? He was like, yeah, no problem. And honestly, usually these kind of things, you probably think I'm so outgoing, but I get like intimidated. And I am not a person who's like Miss Friendly and walk up to the table and start introducing myself and chit-chatting away. But I decided that's how I wanted to be more open and get uncomfortable with myself. The next day breakfast, I met another couple. They were from Miami. They were the backup for the backup. And then by then I'd made friends with some other people in the event, and one of them came up to me and said, oh, hey, I've met a bunch of people from Miami, so if you still need a ride, let me connect you. So that was super cool, right? Then I ended up riding with the second guy, Dustin, because the first person, I decided not to leave right after the event. I felt too rushed. I left the next day. So I ended up riding from Orlando to Miami with Dustin in his big truck. The time flew by. We talked so much about what happened. I didn't hang out with him during the event either, but it was just this really easy conversation. We laughed and laughed. Such a nice guy. In construction from Lansing, Michigan. Totally used to be a Lutheran. Not really into this, wooey stuff. He had so many interesting things happen to him that are, I know, part of the awakening, the way you wake up. And it was brilliant. We had a great time. I've already talked to him twice since the event, just sharing what's happening in our lives. And I know we'll be friends forever. I just know, Then on the way to Miami, oh, here's my phone. On the way to Miami, that Monday was the day my former housemate was getting his eye surgery. He had to have eye surgery on his optic nerve, which is a gnarly surgery to have. Can you imagine? Your optic nerve must be what? It's finer than a strand of your hair. And he had a little pit in it, and he had to get it lasered. They had to through his eye, this whole thing. So I texted him. I said, what time is your surgery? He said, 8 a.m. on Monday. Well, I've already had practiced some quantum healing. And with quantumness, the fifth dimension, time is not linear this way, past, present, future. It turns vertically, where everything exists all the time, in all times. Okay, wrap your head around that. I know, it's hard for me to wrap around. But I remembered at 8:40, so I paused, I opened my heart, I thought about him, and I just sent him love and ease for an amazing result. He texted me about 2 hours later, and he said, just got back from the eye doctor, all is good. We'll have a follow-up tomorrow, and I'll know more then. So I texted him and said, of course it went perfectly. I'm on my way to Miami now, and I'll talk to you later. Then he texted back, I had the strangest half-awake dream last night. Many years ago, I had a cat. I dreamed she jumped on my bed and curled next to me, purring as she always did when she settled down next to me. It was very comforting. And some of you know my nickname is Cat, and I love cats. And I was like, and I said, that, I am sure, was me visiting you in the quantum. Because it didn't matter that he'd had it the night before, the dream, or it didn't matter that I remembered to send him the love at 8:40 if his surgery was at 8, because time is this way. So he texted back after I said that and said, I am definitely sure of that. Never had such a lucid, half-awake dream. I was reading this to my friend Dustin in the car, and we just laughed because I know what that meant. Okay, so I had that. All right, one more real quick one. Obviously, these are going longer than 10 minutes. We're going to go to 15. During the event, I don't know why I didn't take tennis shoes. So all I had were flip-flops and Birkenstocks. And we did a lot of walking meditation, and it's kind of humid there. My feet were swelling a little bit. So I started getting a blister. I thought, oh, I'm going to need to get moleskin, this stuff you can put on to help prevent the blisters. So I walked at the lunch break from the hotel to the CVS in the middle of the day when it was still kind of hot, got there, found the moleskin, and went to pay for it. And my card wouldn't work, my debit card. I called the bank. Well, they had cut my card because, unbeknownst to me, I had opened a claim of fraud on my business account, but they canceled my card and didn't tell me and were sending me a new one. It would have helped if they had told me that at the time, right? I wouldn't have taken that card. So I didn't have any money. I then asked the two clerks there, oh, do either of you have Venmo or PayPal? Because if you'll buy this for me, I can just send you the money right now. I'll show it to you on my phone. I'm sorry, ma'am. I don't have that. And I said, look, here's my hotel key. I only have my lanyard, my hotel key, and my debit card. I'm staying at this hotel. This is me. You see the name. I'll bring you this money this afternoon. I'm sorry, ma'am. We can't let any unpaid merchandise leave the store. I walk out of the store. I'm all annoyed. I know I'm annoyed. My elevated emotion is in the toilet. Then I see this woman get out of a car. And then I said, oh, she starts walking in. I said, oh, are you going to buy anything in the store? She kind of looks at me and she says, I work here. I said, oh, it's too long a story to explain, but my debit card won't work. I need these. I'm getting blisters. I can Venmo you right now if you could just buy them for me. And then she looks at me and she goes like this. We walk in the store. She goes, she buys them. She puts her card in, buys them for me. And she hands them to me and goes, Karma won't pay me back. Don't worry about it. You feed it forward. And I'm like, really? I said, I can Venmo you the money right now. She goes, no. Don't worry about it. It's all good. How about that? I was like, thank you. There's more, but that'll be the next segment. So on that note, guys, big love again.